So nice. I wanted to do a little Q&A video because I feel like I haven't done one in a long time. We have a lot of new people on YouTube and on Instagram, and I'm so excited and happy to have all of you. And I know that a lot of you guys have different questions and some of you trying to figure out different things about me. So I posted on my Instagram a little Q&A thing, and you guys sent me a bunch of questions, and I thought that I'm just gonna randomly pull a few of them and answer them, and hopefully it will give you an idea of what's going on in this little brain of mine. I love to do anything that makes us open different conversation about different subjects and just feel like a little closer to each other, I guess. Before we are getting into this video, we're gonna touch on some subjects that are parenting, time management, vulnerability, mindfulness, organization. You guys asked some really good questions, so we're gonna cover all of that. But before we are going into the questions, I firstly wanted to say a huge thank you to a longtime partner of mine, Skillshare, for sponsoring this video. If you guys don't know, and I'm sure most of you know about Skillshare because I know that some of you guys are loving the platform and learning so much from it. Skillshare is an online learning community, and they have over 25,000 courses on about different subjects from organization, entrepreneurship, business, decluttering, time management, cooking, literally everything and anything. So Skillshare is kind of a great way to get access to all these experts and all these teachers that can start your journey of discovering new things that you never knew you possessed. So Skillshare has been kind enough to give 2-month free membership and trial to 1,000 people that will give you access to everything on the website. These go really fast, so check out. I'm gonna put the link in the description box. After that, if you are interested in subscribing, it's about $10 a month, so it's up to you to see if it's something you want to do. And this is it. Now we can move on to our Q&A. So I'm gonna read from, I put all the things together, so I'm just gonna read them and we'll see what's interesting. What makes you mad? Oh, that's a good question. What makes me mad? I hate when people are late. I don't like people that are dramatic and create drama out of nothing. What gets me angry? It actually makes me mad. And I don't like when my kids don't listen to me. That makes me mad. I have to say, when I say mad, I'm not like losing my it's more of like annoyance. I'm getting annoyed. Not a lot of things can get me mad, really, because I understand that it's not worth it. How have you figured out what you want to get from this life? I think that as you move along in this life, you understand more and more of who you are as a person, and different years you will want different things. So, some will be a year of, family, some will be a year for careers. It always changes. So for me, I think that at the end of the day, I just want to feel content and grateful. And please notice that I didn't say happy, because happiness is like a tricky word. Being content is more something that I'm on a journey for. So yeah, I don't quite have it all figured out. I just want to feel content and challenged. Do you want a daughter? You know what? I kind of have weird days where I do feel like I really want another child, and it would be great if it would be another girl because we have 3 boys. But I have to say that this week it's been quite overwhelming for me, and because I'm still, it's only been 3 months since I had Max, I'm still trying to adjust to having 3 children. And right now I actually can't even imagine adding another one to the mix. So even if it's a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter. It's just I need to find some kind of a routine, because right now it's all over the place. What is the best and hardest part about being a mom? The best part is kind of creating your own little army, I would say. And I think that you learn so much about yourself. It is the absolute hardest challenge and journey I've ever been on, and it's never ending. and there's some days that I fail miserably and other days super proud of myself. So it's a lot of ups and downs, you know, but I can't explain it. It's just another feel of love. Like I've never felt love like this before, and just looking at them and looking at like their mannerisms or their features, and you can see yourself or your husband in them. It's super powerful and amazing. And at this point, no matter what I'm gonna achieve or not achieve in my life, for me they are the biggest achievement. The downfall of it all is that because they are the most precious thing you've created, have this overwhelming feeling of responsibility and guilt and anxiety, and you just want so much for them, and you want to protect them from everything and make sure they're the best self. I just like sometimes I feel like I have to stop myself from projecting my insecurities or thing like that on them, because you know they are not an extension of me, they're their own human. So I think that there's quite a lot of, you know, it's always like display of how much you can do and how much you can control. So that's the mind games that go through every parent's mind and brain every single day. So it can get really exhausting. What are your suggestions to overcome problem of comparing yourself with others? I think that with age you start to appreciate yourself more and more, and you start understanding that, you know, you have kind of your own strength, your own charm, and you understand that you cannot be anyone else. So what's the point of sitting and comparing yourself to someone else? You're not living your life, and life is so short, and you start realizing how short it is as you grow older. I think that just to remember that, you know, there's a very simple quote that I'm sure you've seen everywhere, is no one is you and that is your power. And that's it. That's all you have to remember. You cannot be anyone else, and that's something so unique and beautiful that there's only one you in this world. So bring all of it out and share it with the universe. That's what we're here for. We're here for a very short time. So take advantage of it and don't be miserable because you are not living someone else's life. Did you ever have a dream that you had to give up for some reason? And if yes, do you regret it? I actually, when I met Gary, I started getting this weird interest from the kind of acting world. I actually was about to get a role in this movie that was shooting in Belgium, and I have no idea why, because I don't think I'm an actress at all. I think I suck at acting, but I think they saw something in me that they could have worked with. That required me to move there for like 4 months to 6 months. That really happened when we got engaged, and I kind of had to give it up. I can't say it was a dream, but it was something that obviously you get really excited when you hear about it. Do I regret it? No. I truly believe that wouldn't have been my path at all. I don't regret it at all. I actually don't even think about it. That question just reminded me. Interesting. The funny thing is that if that would have taken me to Hollywood, like if I'm meant to be there, I will be there one way or another. I truly believe that, you know, the universe has a funny way to lead you to your destination. If you choose a road A or road B, you will end up where you need to end up. Do you consider designing clothes? Yes, that's definitely something that is such a passion of mine, and I secretly have this board on Pinterest and also like a stack of stuff. I have this folder at home where I just collect all these ideas and feels and inspo, and I know that one day I will make that happen. I would love to design clothes. I truly believe that it's something I will be good at and passionate about it. So, but it's not time yet. I'm not there yet, but hopefully soon. What do you still struggle with now that you thought you would have sorted out by this age? You know what? I can't say that throughout my life I thought, oh, when I'm gonna be 28, I will figure that out. I actually didn't even think that far ahead. I don't think there's anything that I can put my finger on it. Because you know what, now if I ever thought that 28 is like old, when I was like 16 thinking 28 is old, now that I'm 28 it's still so young that I actually think that I have quite a bit of things figured out already, and I'm a little bit ahead of my time. So don't have an answer to that, but there's a lot of things to still work on, definitely. How do you keep balance and not get angry easily? Balance is something that changes for me every single day, and that's something that I repeat a lot because I get a lot of questions about balance. Some days balance means more you know, focus more on your work, and some days focus more on the family. And I think the secret to it all is to have that self-awareness and to trust your intuition and to listen to it, to know when to start pivoting towards one thing or another. So I think that's what keeps me going and being able to have all these things going on in my life. And I don't get angry easily because honestly it's just not worth it. I think that with time and with age, and not even age, with time and, you know, with the development of my life, like having kids and becoming a mother, so little things are important to me, and there's so many things that I know that don't really matter, that I don't want to spend 5 minutes or 5 hours or 5 days being angry about something that I can't change. And with my kids, I mean, some days I completely lose my and I feel super guilty about it, but mostly I'm just trying to remind myself that, you know, being angry at them won't really do much. So I always try to find a way to handle the situation differently. If you could talk with someone who passed away, who would it be and what would you talk about? If I could talk to someone who passed away, it would probably be my grandmother. She passed away 4 years ago. It's weird because I feel like we weren't in a really good place. This is obviously something that I haven't really had a closure with in my life. That's why I'm crying. It's still like a place that hurt for me. She was here in Canada with us, and then she went back to Russia, and I feel like we kind of never, when she left, we weren't really on good terms, I would say. Maybe not even, we weren't on bad terms. It was just like, I feel like she didn't know and I didn't have a chance to express how much I love her and grateful for everything that she did. There was a little bit of family drama before she left, so I think that just kind of, you know, stopped me from showing her and telling her like how I felt. So if I could talk to her, I would just maybe, I don't know, just kind of not even remind her, just tell her I loved her and that she was such a strong part in my childhood, and I'm really proud of her, and I just hope she's in a better place. Okay, did not expect that to go that way. Your modeling journey / experience, cities you went to and agencies you were signed with. Oh, okay, that's on a lighter note. My modeling journey, where have I been? I had the chance, I know it's so random because probably through Instagram, especially when I did the 10-year challenge, I posted a lot of photos from different places. So a lot of people are like, what, you lived in Tokyo, you lived in Spain? So yeah, some of the places that I had a chance to go to were Holland, I was in like Amsterdam, I was in London, UK. I say London, UK because we have a city, London, in like Canada, so I don't want to mix that up. I was in Paris multiple times. I was in Tokyo twice or 3 times even. Spain, Belgium, where else? Obviously New York, LA, Miami. Any other cities? Sweden. I shot Urban Outfitters in Sweden. That was really fun. And that's really it. Germany, some places honestly I don't even like. Mexico. It took me to a lot of really cool places, and that was in an era where, you know, you wouldn't document things with your phone or take pictures, or I didn't have a video camera. I had some film cameras, so I do have some like photos from then, but I didn't document enough, and I wish that I could have done it. There were so many amazing experiences, but also I'm thinking that if I was so busy, if it was the social media era back then, I probably wouldn't have had all those experiences to remember because I would be too busy thinking about taking photos and videos of myself. Yeah, what agencies you were signed with? I was with IMG in Paris. I was with Elite in the UK and in Israel, which was my mother agency. I was with Uno in Spain. I was with Bravo in Tokyo. That's it. Are you afraid to lose Gary sometimes? Yes, definitely. We had a few incidents last year. Not incidents because it wasn't like, it didn't happen to us, God forbid. But we did, you know, Gary lost a few friends last year. Or people that he knew that passed away that were young, like in their 30s or 40s, and it kind of like becomes real and something that's super scary. I don't want to think about it at all. But like the only way I see myself losing Gary is that if like someone dies, not like divorce or anything like that. That is not gonna happen. Do you feel you are more Canadian, Israeli, or Russian? I feel that I'm more Israeli Russian. Not Canadian yet. I can't say that I've been really Canadianized. I am super proud to be a citizen and I love this country and I'm so grateful to be here. I can't say that I feel Canadian. So definitely Israeli, Russian more. And Russian like culturally. I think that's the difference. With Israel, it's like, it's my home. That's where I grew up. So that's, you know, my home. Russia, I don't have necessarily a connection because I didn't grow up there. I was just born there and then we left. But I feel very strongly about the culture and I love the culture and I love the kind of zest and spice that the Russian culture gives my personality. And the same thing with the Israeli spice. There's a lot of Israeli spice. When, why, and how did you decide to change your lifestyle into a more mindful one? I think that happened when I went to the holistic nutrition program where I graduated from. I think there I got introduced to a lot more, you know, mindfulness, meditation, things like that. And I understood, which is what's unique about holistic nutrition, is that I understood how the body, mind, and spirit is connected. So I think that's what started sparking this whole mindfulness thing for me. And then obviously it happened in a really timely manner. Now it's like everywhere. Yeah, that's how I got introduced to it. What countries are on your travel bucket list? I would love to go to Africa. Would love to go to Singapore, Thailand, Bali. Oh my god, there's so many. Egypt, Morocco, Finland, everywhere. I want to go everywhere. How do you always seem so motivated? Honestly, I feel like I'm like everyone else. I do have to say that I have a strong willpower. That's kind of how I push myself. But willpower is a muscle that I've been working on for a long time. So it's not something that I was born with. God, no. I mean, it's not even motivated. It's like I push myself, and as the kind of ball starts rolling, that's when I get motivated. What keeps me motivated is just, again, we're here for such a short period of time and I want to do all these things and achieve so much. And at this point, I'm really on this quest of like, you know, doing everything possible and gathering as many experiences and stuff, that as many as I can, and kind of a YOLO mentality, like you only live once, so why not? So that kind of motivates me to keep going and moving. And also showing my children that the world is so big and there's so much to do and so many things you can do, and you don't have to put yourself in a box and be one way or the other. So that's what motivates me. How did you get used to living in a foreign country on your own? It took me a while. I mean, for Canada, it was the first year was really depressing for me, although I was surrounded with people, because I knew some people or got introduced to some people. You know, it felt like this is not my culture. I don't understand how people do things here. For me, the winter was very difficult to bear. And so it made me depressed for the first year, but then it's just, you know, time heals everything and you figure out a way to do things your way, and that's it really. I wouldn't say that there's some technique that I used. I knew that, you know, this is something that I need to feel, and I let myself feel that sadness and, you know, maybe a little loneliness. But then I started occupying myself and trying to get into kind of the rhythm of things in the country that I was in. And that's it. And friends and family, you know, just talking to them, and that helped. What do you think are your best qualities personality-wise? Personality-wise, I think that my best qualities is that I adapt to things really fast and I move on from things really fast. Like if I have an argument or there's something that happened, you know, once it's solved, I'm like, forget about it. And once I express my opinion or what bothered me, I move on. Like I hate kind of holding on to things or emotions, like it burdens me. What qualities do you admire in other people? What qualities do I admire in other people? I admire kindness, I admire grit, and I admire when people are, you know, trying to kind of make the best out of every situation. I think that's such a wonderful and contagious quality that when you see it in other people, it really motivates you to do the same way, to be the same way. So I really love that. What is your favorite type of exercise? Probably dancing. Just jumping around. I wouldn't even call it dancing. What do you do differently in raising your kids compared to how your mother raised you? I'm trying to kind of let them develop into their own humans and not necessarily put them in this box of what I think, you know, they should be. Also, not projecting my insecurities on them, things like that. I think today there's much more mindfulness parenting. Like, you're much more in tune with what's going on in your mind, and you understand that you don't have to control everything, which is very different, especially in the Russian culture. I think Russian culture is so strict, and there's like kind of a formula to how to raise kids, and probably in every culture actually, but just like from, you know, my experience, because my mother was raised a certain way, so she wanted to raise me a certain way, and I think that that's what I'm doing differently, and I'm sure that that applies to a lot of my friends now. I mean, we're a generation that is just more in tune with ourselves. So that's what I think I'm doing differently. And I mean, I don't know if it's good or bad. We'll see. Why don't you have pets? I never grew up with pets, and I know that pets are a lot of responsibility, and I don't want another responsibility right now. I'm just trying to keep myself and my children alive. So if you could live anywhere in the world, not Canada, where would it be? It would probably be Spain. I love the culture, I love the people, I love the food, I love everything about it. So yeah, Spain. If you hadn't become a model / influencer, what do you think your career path would have looked like? I really wanted to be a political journalist, which I have no idea why. But I think if I stayed in Israel and haven't moved to Canada, I would probably do something in journalism and writing, something creative. Because I was always like into creative writing, and I was doing a lot of that back then. I had like a blog. Oh my god, it was a blog. But now they killed the website, so I can't even find it anymore. So yeah, I think that that's what I would have done. I would have found kind of my path there. What are your thoughts on astrology? My mother is a big astrology lover. I don't have much opinions about it. I don't know enough. Do you have any insecurities regarding your looks? How do you manage them? There are things that I don't like about my body, or, you know, I feel like we all have those things, but I try not to dwell on it too much. I try to really put a spotlight on the things that I do love. And that's how I handle it. I'm just like, I don't fixate on it, and I think that's something that you learn slowly with age, or not even. I think that today there's a lot of more body positivity, so you really learn to love what you have and work with it. How do you deal with stress? When I'm stressing, I think that I'm trying to find a reason for my stress. I'm trying to understand if it's like justified stress, or am I just creating it in my mind? And then I'm thinking about ways to distress myself. If it's like taking a few hours off for myself, you know, doing something for myself that puts me in a better mood, maybe even asking for help from someone that can help me to, you know, kind of figure out that situation that stresses me out. So that's usually the 3 things that I do, and usually that's how I kind of find a way to solve that. Describe your first kiss. What's the story? My first kiss? My first kiss, it wasn't even like a kiss. It was, oh my god. Oh, I remember. So I think I was 13 or 14, and we went on vacation to Turkey with some close friends and family friends, and I met this boy. He was from Manchester, and he had the British accent, and I was like floored. That was the first time I traveled outside of Israel. Yeah, I was like 13. Anyways, one evening we were like partying. We were in the lobby drinking apple juice, and then we went to like the hotel club, and then we were talking and stuff, and then he shoved like his tongue in my mouth, and I was like, ah! And I ran away. Yeah, that was my first kiss, I guess. What is your favorite memory with Gary? Oh my god, so many. When our kids were born, when we went on our honeymoon. How do you view and approach criticism? This is funny because this takes a lot of honesty with yourself. At first it was very difficult for me to just deal with criticism, and then with time I figured that I have to differentiate what that criticism is. Is it coming like people just being hateful because they're jealous or they're bored or there's nothing really interesting going on in their lives? That's not something I should pay attention to. And if it's the kind of criticism that is, you know, kind of a constructive feedback, I have to differentiate that and understand that that comes from a place of, you know, just hearing other people's opinion, something that, you know, I can think about and weigh in if it's something that I want to listen to and adjust or not. And then the third one is criticism that bothers me And is it something that bothers me because I have an issue with myself? Like, do you know how sometimes when people say something to you and you get really like aggravated or annoyed with that or with that person? So for me, I'm just like, why is this flaring all these emotions? Do I have any issues, or does this touch a place or an issue inside of me that I need to work on or figure out? So with criticism, that's kind of how I look. I have those three kind of categories that I put, you know, different criticism that I get in them, and make sure that I waste my energy and time on the ones that actually will benefit me and come from a good place, rather than, you know, just kind of bored people online. What was your high school experience like? My high school experience was, it was very short-lived, because I actually moved to a school that had a program where I studied by myself and then come only to the exams. I think it's called external studies or something, and I started that at 16 because I was already fully working as a model and traveling. At 16, I basically like stopped really having any high school experience. I was on my own. But up until then, I would say I was very like invisible, very into my own life. Like, I had a small group of friends. I think I have like 2-3 girlfriends that were like, we were a clique. We were like these 3 Russian girls that were always together, and they were awesome. So I have good memories there, but I was never like popular. I never really had like a voice. I was never really active in anything. Like, probably a lot of people don't even remember me or that I went to school with them. People started only noticing me more around the age of 15, when I started kind of getting into modeling. So yeah, it was nice. I was bullied a little bit, but like I was just not, there was nothing to remember really. It was pretty okay. Very mediocre. What is your biggest fear? My biggest fear is to lose someone I love. Top 3 books you recommend? I love the book The Untethered Soul. I really like. Anne Frank's diary was something that will forever be part of like me. I think that I read it maybe 15 times. I'm just trying not to focus too much on the self-help books, because that's something that I just got into recently. So I'm trying to like think about the books that I've read that really like stay there. I really love The Woman I Wanted to Be by DVF. That's an amazing book. I think something in there just really kind of spoke to me. So those are really some of the books that are like stuck in my head. Have you ever wanted to go to university? Yes, actually, after I had Jake, before I applied to holistic nutrition school, I really wanted to maybe go for like business degree. Gary was very supportive of it, and he kind of saw that I have a sense for it. So he told me, you know, why don't you do kind of like an adult program, to do like a BA and then see if you want to continue doing it. So that's something that I wanted to do. But then I decided to do nutrition because it really scared me to go back to like a very strict school and deadlines, because I've been out of that type of structure for a very, very long time. So yeah, but I actually think that I would at some point do that, like maybe later when the kids are a little older. I would definitely go back to school. What is your definition of success? My definition of success is like being so content with your life that you don't really have time or energy or the will to give space to any negativity or focus on other people's business or things like that. That's to me success. Mastering your mind is also like a success. What's your favorite thing about being a YouTuber? My favorite thing about being a YouTuber is probably just like having so many of you guys to be part of my life and feel connected to. I feel like you guys teach me so much, even without noticing. Like when I go to profiles and see what you guys are about, you guys send me recommendation about books and stuff. Like just having so many friends online is amazing, and I'm really, really grateful for that. What's one of the craziest things you've done? Skydiving twice? What the hell was I thinking? That was insane. I would never do that now, like ever. Oh my god. Would you consider getting a tattoo? No. I really wanted when I was like a teenager, like everyone else, but my mother basically threatened my life. What language do you think in when you are by yourself? It depends, because if I'm like right now, I'll think in English, and then if I'll like speak with any of my friends, that day or like that week from Israel, for that like the longest time I'll think in Hebrew, or if I listen to music in Hebrew, then for the next like 3-4 days I'll think in Hebrew. So it kind of changes. It's never though in Russian, I have to say, because I feel like Russian is probably the weakest language for me. Can you tell us about your scars? Yeah, my scars. So this scar I got when I was 2 years old. It was back in Russia. I fell asleep, and you know how in the old flats there's these radiators. So I fell asleep and I kind of stretched my arm and I placed it on the radiator. So the skin basically got like burnt, and then we went to the hospital and the doctor was like doing this, so it left like a mark. He took like all the dead skin out, so there's like a mark here. And then the marks that I have on my chest is I had a mole and there was a scare like for cancer, so we had to take that one out. And because it's in an area where it's like very stretchy, so obviously there's a scar. And then I have a scar here, and that is also a mole. I used to have a lot of moles, I still do, but this was also a mole that kind of grew, and I was actually pregnant with Jake at the time, and they had to remove that mole while I was pregnant, so that's why there is a scar there. What was the lowest point in your life and how did you overcome it? My lowest point in my life, I wouldn't say it was, I think that when my stepdad and my mom were getting a divorce, and it was like a very ugly divorce, and I was kind of just trying to run away from it. I escaped through my modeling because back then I was already traveling, and I was just running away, and I felt like I had no one to talk to, and you know, they were so busy at bickering at each other and angry at each other, and just I feel like they put me in the middle. So that was kind of a time that I remember just being really not myself and very lost emotionally. How did I handle it? I stopped expecting my parents to save me, and I stopped like putting kind of the blame and responsibility on them, and I started to understand that I need to create my own happy reality and to become my own person. Because as young as I was 16 then, that's it, like I was kind of on my own, so I just started kind of building myself up. Do you believe in the law of attraction? Yes. What is your favorite way to cure being uninspired? I shut off my phone, like, so no one can call me. I'll put like music. I definitely put music on. I'll read some books. I'll go on Pinterest. Pinterest, I have to say, is really inspiring to me. I find a lot of things there, and that's it really. And watch like old movies. I love watching foreign movies and old movies, old Hollywood. Best worst date experience. I had this one date, I remember, where the guy tried so hard to impress me. It was so sad, and it wasn't in like a cute way where you're like, oh, he's trying so hard. It was like in a disgusting way, like, ugh. It was really creepy. I didn't have really bad dates. Like, I didn't really date for too long, but when I had bad dates, I feel like I enjoyed just like learning about the person. Like, I knew this is not gonna go anywhere, but I was just like, what the hell, we're here, we might as well have fun. So a lot of those bad dates just became kind of, you know, fun experiences, and some of those people like became friends. If you could do one thing just to know what it was like without any consequences, what would it be? It would probably be just like selling everything, packing everything up, and just like go on a world tour with my family for like 5 years. No, not 5 years, maybe for like a year or two. I would love to do that. Get out of this, you know, routine and regime that we live in. That would be really awesome. Where does your love for fashion come from? My God, from people, from movies, from music. There's inspiration everywhere. What are your religious beliefs? I'm Jewish. Like, I love the tradition of it, but I'm definitely much more spiritual person, not so religious. So that's really it. Like, religion doesn't dictate my life. I just love the tradition of my religion, and I try to, you know, kind of maintain it and to teach it to our kids. I just feel like it's something nice to, you know, to have and to bring the family close together, and that's it really. What aspects of your job do you not like in terms of living such an online life? I don't like the fact that I always have to be connected. I know that a lot of people are like, oh, take some time off and, you know, just disconnect. It's really hard when this is, you know, your livelihood and this is your career, and I do love what I do, but for me, you know, I have to disconnect once in a while, and it does hurt, you know, business a little bit, so that's kind of annoying. And it's kind of part of like, it's not a 9 to 5, you know, but I think that every entrepreneur can say that, like, no matter what business, if it's online or not, when you're starting your own something, it's like a non-stop, you always work. The other thing is that you put yourself out there, you're super vulnerable. You know, people talk about your children and about the way you do things and who you are and what you are, and speculate ridiculous stuff. So, but that's actually, I don't care anymore. I feel like it actually made me more aware of myself and like knowing when to not pay attention to things. And what else I don't like? I don't know, that's really it. I have to say, I feel super lucky to have this as my career. I absolutely love what I do. Okay guys, this is it. It's actually perfect timing. There was the last question and I have a conference call right now, and I love the fact that I made this tea and I didn't even sip any of it. And I hope I answered some of your questions, and let me know if you guys want me to do more of these Q&As, just like sit down, you know, go through the questions and getting to know each other a little bit more. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And you guys can check out the special offer in the description box.